The sun burned brightly over the quiet streets of Marwood City, its light slicing through the glass doors of Northcrest Bank as if determined to expose every truth hidden inside. It was on this warm, ordinary weekday, under a sky too peaceful to predict anything extraordinary, that a dusty-shoes stranger stepped into the bank, carrying with him a story that would shake everyone who witnessed it. His name was Amir Holden, and although no one there recognized him, he was the man who quietly owned the very institution whose floors he walked on. Yet to the staff, he looked like someone struggling, someone who didn't belong, someone whose presence could be dismissed with a single condescending glance. And it was that dismissive glance that would change the day entirely. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and judging no one by their appearance, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to RW Insights to help inspire more people with real feeling stories. Amir had arrived unannounced, dressed simply in a faded casual shirt and worn jeans, not because he wanted to test anyone, but because he had spent the morning visiting one of the rural branches anonymously and hadn't bothered to change. He enjoyed seeing the world from the ground level sometimes, understanding what customers experienced without the polished filters that employees displayed around him in official meetings. But at Northcrest Bank Central Branch, no one expected a CEO to walk in without escorts, badges, or formal attire. The branch manager, Halston Reddick, noticed him immediately. Halston liked to believe he had an eye for valuable customers, and after years of working in the polished environment of corporate banking, he felt confident, too confident, in his ability to judge a person by their shoes alone. He watched Amir walk toward the counter with a slow, hesitant step, and a smirk curled across his lips. Trouble, he assumed. Someone with overdue fees, maybe. Someone who would waste his time. Amir approached the counter calmly and asked, in a quiet, tired voice, if he could check his account balance. It had been a long day, and he spoke gently, without urgency or authority. Halston overheard him and burst into a short, mocking laugh that drew the glance of two employees nearby. "Check your balance?" Halston said loudly as he approached, making sure everyone around could hear his voice. "Sir. I'll pay you double if you actually have a balance. We don't have time for jokes today." The employees chuckled softly, unsure if they were supposed to. Amir simply lowered his gaze for a moment, not embarrassed but deeply disappointed. He had seen arrogance in his industry, but rarely so blunt, so proud. He did not react with anger. Instead, he asked again, gently, if they could proceed. The teller, nervous now, typed in the account number he provided. Her hands trembled as, line by line, the screen flooded with numbers she had never seen before, multi-billion-level summaries, holdings across continents, and a status code reserved only for executive-level accounts. Her lips parted, and her breath caught in her throat. Halston noticed her sudden stillness. His smirk vanished. "What is it?" he asked impatiently, leaning forward as if the monitor might hide treasure. And then the color drained from his face. It was the CEO. The very top of the pyramid. The man their training materials emphasized with reverence. The owner whose decisions kept the bank alive. Standing right in front of them in dusty jeans. The branch fell silent. Amir looked up, finally meeting Halston's horrified stare. But instead of anger, his eyes were full of something softer, sadness mixed with resolve. He could have fired the manager on the spot. He could have closed the branch, reshuffled the staff, or turned the entire interaction into a corporate lesson. But that wasn't his way, and deep inside, he knew that people learned more through reflection than punishment. So instead, he stepped closer and spoke with calm authority. He explained that while wealth could build walls, humility destroyed them, and a bank, more than any place, should be where dignity is given freely, not selectively. He shared how his own father, a kind but poor man, had once been mocked at a bank counter decades ago, and how the memory burned so deeply that it shaped the values he built his company on. Halston's eyes filled with tears. All his pride crumbled in that moment, and for the first time in years, he felt truly ashamed. He whispered an apology, not for the sake of his job, but because he realized he had failed the very essence of humanity. Other staff members looked shaken as well, understanding the weight of what had happened. Amir accepted the apology, but he didn't end it there. He asked Halston to walk with him outside for a moment. They stepped into the warm, bright sunlight, where the city buzzed unaware around them. Amir pointed toward the busy street, where people of all backgrounds crossed paths, some wealthy, some struggling, some dreaming, some breaking. Every person walking there, Amir said softly, has a story. You never know whose life you're touching in a single moment. Never forget that. The manager nodded, tears slipping down his cheeks. Something inside him had shifted, humbled, grounded, awakened. When they walked back in, the atmosphere had changed. The staff looked at Amir not as a CEO, but as a reminder that kindness was not a corporate requirement, it was a human one. And as he left the branch, he didn't dismiss Halston, didn't embarrass him, didn't demand consequences. Instead, he offered him training, mentorship, and a chance to redesign the branch's approach to customer care. A second chance, something many people begged for but rarely received. It was that day, under the brightness of an ordinary sun, that a simple interaction reshaped an entire workplace. And it was the day Halston vowed never again to judge the worth of a person by the dust on their shoes, but by the truth in their eyes. If this story has touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to RW Insights to help spread the message of empathy and humanity. Before the story ends, here is a special request: comment below what lesson you personally learned from this moment. And so, Amir walked away quietly, never needing to boast about his status. Because real power, he believed, wasn't found in wealth, but in the ability to remain kind, even when the world wasn't.